Call to order the regular board meeting of April 17th, 2023. And we'd like to welcome you to Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education. All of our regular meetings have been posted in all of our district websites in our central office in each district building. And of course, tonight's agenda is posted on the website as well as been emailed out through the Board of Education subscription. There's also a copy in the back of the agenda, and if you have not picked up one, please do, so you may follow along with that. Of course, our board members do receive the documents and other artifacts that are important for running a board meeting for tonight that is scheduled, so that they can review the information and be prepared to listen and answer questions and make comments that demonstrate their duties of their office. And the meeting is the meeting of the Board of Education Public, and for the purposes of conducting the district's business is not to be considered a public community meeting. The Buchanan Community Boards of Education does recognize the value of public comment and, of course, the importance of educational issues that we face and express throughout the district. And of course, during our board meeting, we do have an area for public comments in that portion of the agenda. And if someone is interested in making a public comment, please fill out a public comment card and turn it in, and we will address it appropriately. With that said, let us stand and have our pledge allegiance. All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Berry.
Here.
Ms. Brackett.
Here.
Ms. Lesh here. Dr. Carlin.
Here.
Ms. Ryder.
Here.
And Dr. Burnett.
Here. Moving on to item D, the adoption of the agenda. May we have a motion, please?
I move the agenda for the board meeting of April 17th, 2023 be adopted as written.
Support.
And no updates to the agenda. Is that correct?
No updates to the agenda. Nothing that I have.
No.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item E, recognition of visitors. And again, we love to see you all out there participating in our meetings. And Ms. Robinson, anything else to add?
No, just welcome everybody.
All right. Moving on to item F, points of pride.
I'm getting there. I usually take this off. So every month we go through the list of nominees for Buchanan Staff Appreciation for April. We had Blake Ryan, Buchanan High School Guidance Counselor, Brandon Flowers, Buchanan High School Guidance Counselor, Brian Pruitt, Buchanan High School Principal, Carrie Thompson, Moccasin Administrative Assistant, Dave Skolowski, or Mr. S, second grade teacher permanent sub, Jennifer Firo, Buchanan High School Guidance Office Administrative Assistant, Jill Petku, fourth grade teacher, Laura Henkel, Ottawa Guidance Counselor, Mark Fry, Buchanan High School Assistant Principal and CTE Director, Michelle Horvath, third grade teacher, and Ryan Franzek, Buchanan Middle School Dean of Students and Assistant Athletic Coordinator. And this month's winner was Reed Macbeth, our Athletic Director, and I will read what was written. Since taking over the Athletic Coordinator position, Coach Macbeth has been supportive, helpful, and guiding. I have come to him with some concerns, proposals, and ideas, as he has always made time to listen, address, and problem solve with me to develop the best solution for my programs. He doesn't always agree with me, but he has made every effort to listen and try to make a compromise that works well for all parties. He makes coaches feel respected and supported, which is extremely important and a reflection of his leadership as athletic coordinator. On behalf of the Board of Education and administration of Buchanan Community Schools, we thank you for your service and encourage you to keep up the great level of achievement and service to our district. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Reed,
Like I did see him. Oh, there he is.
come on down.
I kept looking for you out here, and I'm like, where'd he go? Congratulations.
Yes.
We really like the picture, Coach.
All right. And still under points of pride, robotics, megahertz team, 5056.
Yes. So we have our robotics megahertz team 5056 here so that we can recognize them for their achievement just this year, I think earlier this month. They competed in the East Kentwood District playoffs, and they won the Industrial Design Award. And I would just like to call them up so they can kind of share their experience and explain more about what the Industrial Design Award is.
All right. Let's
Come
give a
on
round
up.
of applause. Good job, guys. Good job.
This team has a wonderful blog page as well that they've kind of, that they have went through and shared their experience on as too, and they constantly update their Facebook page with pictures and updates of what they're doing in the off season.
Am I good to go?
Yep, you should be good to go.
So first off, I just kind of wanted to start with a little thank you, especially to the school board and just our community as a whole. You know, running this whole first robotics team, we need to raise a minimum of like $20,000 to be able to go to this competition, be eligible, have a viable robot. You know, even just like room and board, you know, that really adds up when you've got, 20, 30 people going up to Grand Rapids for a competition. So yeah, I just really wanted to say thank you for that. Especially the Scarecrow Charities in particular, they donated a significant portion, I'd say about a third of their building specifically to us, so that way we could create our robots, we would have our own space that we could design ourselves, and I think that really helped this year of having our own personalized space that we could store all of our stuff in. We could have meetings, we can host other events. It's been a really great thing to see, especially seeing that kind of evolve over my years on the team. And yeah, I'm really proud of our team and what we were able to pull together this year. A lot of our students this year were completely new. We've had, a lot of returning mentors and a few returning students, but most of them, this was their first or second year, and we had a lot of obstacles this year. There was part shortages. Designing our robot was a huge significant thing. We had to pick up cones, which is really, really hard to do with that circular shape. So there was a lot of struggles that we had to work with, and seeing everybody kind of come together, find their spot, work together, and create like a really well-designed robot that, as you mentioned, won us that award was just a really amazing thing. Our driver, Logan, right here, before competition, he had driven our robot for like maximum 4 or 5 hours. And when you're going up against these teams with these larger numbers that have gotten to drive the robot for 6 weeks straight, and being able to hold our own, that was really impressive. And I think that being that more small, tight-knit team really helped us too. But yeah, no, at these competitions, there's like 35, 40 different robotics teams. You're all coming together, and then suddenly it's just go. It's this huge student-led, student-organized event. There's mentors obviously helping in the background, but repairing your robot, getting everything set up on the field, coding it, it's all just students, and it's all just go. It's not quite like BattleBots, like you might quite think it is. It's a lot more based around a cooperative element. All of these teams are randomly thrown onto an alliance. It's 3 team members, so it's 3 on 3, and you go together, you work more towards achieving your goal. Again, unlike BattleBots, it's a lot more based around working together, not harming the other robot, and working on completing your goal. There was even, at this event, there was a co-op grid where basically you would actively help both of your teams if you completed that additional task. And so to kind of emphasize all of those different things of working with other teams, teams working together within themselves, sustainability, they have these judges at the competitions who go around, they watch the matches, they're talking with the teams, they're looking at how the teams work together, and they kind of look and they assess all these different values. There's stuff like team sustainability, engineering and inspiration, and so on. And so it was really cool when the judges came down and started talking with us, and they kept talking with us. They mentioned quite a few points. They were really interested in our autonomous that our programmer sitting over there, Jesse, designed, where instead of having to completely recode this whole new way for the robot to drive itself at the beginning of the match, you could just throw in, change a couple values on that dashboard, and you were good to go. At competition, it's go, 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 there's not a lot of time. So being able to just quickly change something, a 2-hour project got changed into a 30-minute one. They were also really interested. In between our first and second competition, we completely redesigned our arm. The first one we had, spent 6 weeks on it. It looked amazing. It didn't work. It just wasn't functional. It kept hitting the ground. It was falling apart by the end of the competition. So we looked at what didn't work. We looked at what other teams did, and we completely redid that. And I think those two just aspects of our robot really stood out to our judges. The award that they specifically nominated us for was, again, industrial design. It's an award that really emphasizes functionality, both in the design process, the building of it, and how that robot itself functions, which I think was a huge emphasis for our team this year. We really worked on something that could be efficient in grabbing the pieces that we needed to, moving around other teams, and just being able to work as fast as we could, especially with, again, it kind of all ties back into that really cooperative element of just doing your personal best. And so getting to see the judges acknowledge all of those things was just an absolutely amazing thing. And I'm really proud of what we were able to do, both just in competition and winning that award. It's just been amazing to see this season take shape. And again, thank you to you guys and our team for making that possible. So yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
This is our plaque, by the way.
Yes.
You guys wanted to see. We have another little trophy back at our shop, but that's on our display.
Awesome.
I think it's neat that you guys have your own space, because working on a project, if you had to put it away all the time or pull it out or not know where stuff is, I think that's awesome that now you can really focus and spend more time building and working and not tearing down all the time or trying to find.
Oh, yeah, no, it's been wonderful. For a while, we were working out of that, I don't quite know the official name for it. It's that old building where they hold Cisco and a lot of other CTE programs. And while that was really nice, and it worked really well for us, having our own personally designed space has been really great in that efficiency aspect, as you mentioned. Again, outside of competition even, it's all go, go, go. You got 6 weeks. You got to pull this robot together, lots of late nights. So any way to shave off that excess time is really helpful.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions for me or any of the other students here?
Any questions?
No.
All right. If not, our lead mentor, Philip Place, is here. If you guys, I know he's a little bit
Yeah, that's me. I just had one quick thing I wanted to say, just to kind of drive home some points about why this program is so important. So, Michael mentioned that it's $20,000. I need to emphasize that that's per year.
Yeah.
So we have to raise that. And we are a fully self-funded program with our partnership with Lake Michigan Steamworks, which is a Buchanan 501c3 non-for-profit. What that basically means is that we do not have any regular sustained funding. We have to seek that out every year. So we start from zero at the beginning of every season. And so the funding for that comes through things like our team sponsorships, which we have a great community that helps sponsor the robot and then get their sticker on things, and that's pretty awesome. The community donations, public grants, which includes the state grant that we've been fortunate to get every year, which is a huge portion of our funding. And then various community fundraisers, which you'll see us do throughout the year. Last year, we had a very successful thing through Ellen Hill. We did a celebrity dunk tank. So I'll be sending you guys invitations for the celebrity portion of that. I remember having a conversation with a certain police officer that somehow that got reassigned to someone else. I don't know how that worked out, but that's what ended up happening. So really quickly, why is this program so important and amazing and invaluable? Is annually, there's $20 million or more available and only available to the alumni of this program. And that's nationally throughout the world, or the country. It's throughout the world program, but this scholarship money is available to the people within the United States. And every time we go there, there are schools, technology schools, there are businesses and corporations that are trying to get these kids right out of high school. And the companies are actively recruiting the graduates as they go. I mean, it's amazing. Some of these kids have positions lined up before they even complete the school. And so I flipped this around, but I wanted to mention, as another point of pride, since we're talking about points of pride, that we currently have 4 Buchanan students that went through our robotics program. And beyond graduation, 2 of them, they all went to engineering school and are being very successful. 2 of them are currently working in apprenticeship programs at Eagle Technologies, and their program and their schooling is paid for.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome.
And that's a result of the program. I also recommend that if you get a chance and you have Disney Plus, or you know someone that has Disney Plus, you might want to look into the Disney documentary called More Than Robots. It is a documentary, it's not an entertainment piece, but it does follow this program. It follows a couple of teams and gives you a very good understanding of just how incredible and the program is and how insane it can be at these events. So it's pretty awesome. And I have one more quick thing, since we don't usually get a chance to talk to you guys. I have a very short video, like 2 minutes. It's just a really quick synopsis of the season, so you can see, and you get a look at our robot, which we couldn't bring today because this is getting prepped for plowing.
Okay.
few inside jokes there. This is a short version of that season, but thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
And
Yeah,
team, we'd like to
congratulations.
have a picture with you guys up in front, so if you guys,
okay.
all of the parents
Yep.
that are part of it.
Let's go, board.
Too.
We got to get in on the picture.
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Okay. Ready? Okay. That was awesome. Why should we have a note? I think we should be done now with the board meeting. I guess we have to do business, but. All right, but we do have the 2023 Hall of Fame inductees. Ms. Robinson?
Yes, on April 28th, our inductees will participate in a breakfast with the Buchanan Area Chamber of Commerce at their annual meeting. And there were several names that were submitted, some that roll over as well, and we did have some winners. So for the contributions to society, our winner is Dr. Aaron McKean. For contributions to Buchanan Community Schools, Mr. Bill Weaver. And then for performance and school-related activities, Mr. John Karpinski. Those are our winners for the Hall of Fame for this year. So
Very good.
we want to congratulate them.
Yeah, let's give them a round of
As well.
applause. All right, and then Superintendent Department reports. Anything to add there, Ms. Robinson?
No, nothing more than what you guys have.
Okay, very good. And now we're moving on to item 8, presentation. We
Yes.
have Mr. Macbeth.
I have to follow Phil's presentation in the robotics team, so I don't know if it's really fair.
Fancy bells and whistles.
All right. Well, as the athletic coordinator and BVA, there we go, and the BVA director, we spent a lot of time recently with, especially last week, with testing, and we were extremely pleased with our BVA turnout in terms of testing. We had in one of our groups, which in recent years have been really low, we had 16 out of 17 show up for testing, so that was a huge improvement for us. Next week, we're going to try to get the kids back here for M-STEPs, so that's kind of where we're at with our BVA program. For athletics, I have a little slideshow just to present with you, kind of a recap of what we have so far for the school year. For fall sports, our football team, just some highlights, was 8-2, lost in the first round of the MHSA tournament. Our varsity volleyball team, as you can see, was 31-6, made it to the regional finals. Our girls and boys cross-country team, both, our girls team was actually the conference champs, and the boys were the runners-up, and they both made it to the state finals at Michigan International Speedway. So I know that was exciting for Coach Baker. Some individual accolades. There's a couple pictures. If you follow us on social media, you've seen those as well already. A couple more, a football team and the girls cross-country team. Some of our fall athletes, we had first team, we had 16 boys and 10 girls who were first team all-conference. We also had the conference MVP in cross-country and in volleyball. In cross-country, it was Maddie Young, and in volleyball, it was Faith Carson. We also had 5 all-region football players and 1 who was first-team all-state, and Thomas Van Overberg. In soccer, we had 3 all-district players. We had 2 all-region volleyball players, and we had a third-team all-state volleyball player in Faith Carson, and an honorable mention all-state performer in Josie West. Moving on to our winter sports. We had a competitive cheer team who did very well this year. They took second place in the Division 4 district, or actually they took second place in our conference, which is a combination of the SAC conference and the Lakeland conference for competitive cheer. They were the runners-up for the district and went on to the regional tournament. They were the champions of the cheer by the pier, as well as the Paw Paw Invitational champions. Our girls basketball team obviously had a very successful year at 23-2. They were the Lakeland Conference champs, the district champs, the regional champs, and they lost a close game in the state quarterfinals. A couple pictures from some of our more successful winter teams there. As far as our winter athletes, we had 4 boys who were first team all conference. We had 7 girls. Again, we had the MVP of the league in Faith Carson. Faith was also all-state. She was a member of the Dream Team, which is all divisions put together, and she was the AP D3 Player of the Year, and I don't know if we've ever had one of those, so that was a huge accomplishment for Faith, so we're really proud of that accomplishment. As far as spring sports, softball's off to a great start. They're 10-0 on the season. Up until today, the weather's been pretty cooperative. I think I had to cancel one thing before today, and we had 5 events canceled today, and we didn't have any of them. So today was a little bit tricky. The track and field team has had 2 big events so far, and we've had several medalists in both of those. The first was at Bridgman High School, and then this past weekend they were at Hartford for a freshman-sophomore meet. I think the girls finished as a team in second place, runners-up at that meet, and the boys were in fourth. The baseball team is at about 500 right now. The tennis team sits at 3-1, and our soccer team is struggling, but I talk to Mr. Pruitt all the time because his daughter's on that team, and I know he'll tell you that they're getting better and better each day. So they're looking for their first victory to come here soon. So as long as the weather keeps cooperating, I think we're in a good place with our spring sports as well. So I think we've had a good season so far, and we look for more success here as the season winds down. So that's it, I think.
And
I appreciate you keeping the Facebook updated, because that's where I get a lot of it, so it takes a lot of work, I know.
Yeah, and if I miss something, I have lots of people who will correct me in a hurry.
Let you know.
You got to be on
Thank
top
you.
of it. So.
any other questions for Mr. Macbeth?
I just would like to say that I met with Mr. Macbeth a week ago, something like that, and we discussed BVA since I'm the BVA liaison. And I learned a great deal about how that's operating now, and I really appreciate the time that you spent explaining all of that. And the testing is phenomenal to have that many, and I know you were concerned about that.
Yeah, I learned a great
when we
deal about the
talked.
testing last week as well, and I was buried in 52 boxes of material.
Yeah,
Trying to figure out where each one needed to get mailed back to, so that was fun.
yeah. Thank you for that.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Macbeth.
Thank you.
And why don't we give a round of applause for our athletes at
Yeah.
It's always good to see that. All right, moving on to information and new business, or reports of new business, and FIME Advisory Committee.
They're coming.
Oh,
Yep.
wow, there,
They're here.
yeah.
It's plow day time, so this Saturday, you gotta come out to the farm, get your pancake breakfast, watch the plows. It's not gonna rain very much this week, so there should be some plows in the ground. It'll get warmer, should be perfect plow day activities. So this year, we're bringing back the Berrien County pedal pullers, so the little kids can do some contests to see how much weight they can pull. We have 3 weight classes and some prizes we're gonna give out for that. We have some maple syrup we're gonna raffle off again, so come on out, enjoy the farm. Jane's gonna give you a little update on outdoor education. We've had a really fun year. I went to pancake breakfast at Moccasin last week. What a great time. I tapped some trees for the first time, so Jane's doing a great job with outdoor education. She's continuing some of the traditions we've built here, and then she's adding some new exciting trends to outdoor education, so it's been great to watch her grow into this job this year, and here's a chance she can give you a little summary of what she's worked on.
Thank you. I really didn't expect that. She just said, "Why don't you come?" Great. That was on a text message. I was like, "Well, we're having cattle. We're having cows right now. They're having babies, but I guess Ed had it at 7 this morning, so I guess I can show up." All right. Just a quick update on some of the things. Again, we've been doing things traditionally for a long time. We haven't deviated from the tradition. As I said, I have a 1973 picture, when I won't tell you what grade I was in, where I was tapping trees. So we have been doing the maple syrup well over 50 years, I think. So a little bit about what just that one field trip takes. It starts probably in the first or second week of February, and we are demonstrating tapping the trees at Moccasin in the front yard. They are practicing, the students are practicing with logs that we bring into the school with their drills. And then that next week we go out and we tap at Life Action Ranch, which, by the way, if you know anybody there, tell them thank you very much for allowing us to come out, because we've been going there for a while. I think one of the things that I have at least tried to think of is, how does this all fit into the curriculum? And so the teachers and I have kind of been putting our heads together, and of course, they give them a test at the end of the year or the end of the activity, and we've just kind of incorporated some of the things. And so some of the areas that we utilize as, of course, science. We're talking about nature, we're talking about the type of trees, we're talking about the temperature. A lot of times, is it hot, is it cold, which this wasn't the greatest spring for that. We also talk about math, and they learn 40-to-1 ratio. How many gallons of sap do you need to make syrup? And they can do the math on their head, by the way, which is amazing to me, because I have to, I did it the long way with the sign. All right, we do a lot with just mechanically. They're using tools, they're using saws. I don't want to say that too loudly, but it's one of their favorite things to do. They are splitting wood. Yes, that's, an interesting event. But they're doing things that they haven't necessarily ever done before, which I'm learning. It's exciting to them. And they're doing a lot with science. One of the things that Melissa kind of witnessed when she came out to see is we have a hydrometer, and we test the density of course, the sap in relation to the sugar that's in there. Well, this year I had 2 buckets instead of 1 bucket, and we tested in 1 bucket, it came up 0. And they couldn't figure out, well, why would it be 0? And I let them think about it for a while, and then they finally realized that Mrs. Mitchell brought some tap water, a whole bucket of it, from her hose at home, and that's what they were measuring. And then we put 0 with the water, and we do 50-50, what should it come up with? So we're kind of incorporating at least some of the curriculum things that, that to me, I want to make sure that we kind of check off the box of. And then we end up going out, let's see, that was in February, and in March we go out and again we collect the sap that we tapped, the trees that we tapped at Life Action. Again, testing it with the hydrometer, coming back to the school farm and in the sugar shack, making the magic happen. Learning about boiling points, learning about evaporation, and, that's not smoke going up in the air, is it? A lot of fun, a lot of creative thinkings. We added a component about nutrition. Anybody that doesn't know, take a look at maple syrup and all of the great nutrients that it has in it compared to just plain old corn syrup. So I threw in some economics. We talked about why corn syrup is so much cheaper than the real stuff, as we like to put it. And so we started talking about labor intensity, and maybe I was on my college courses too much, but threw that in there as well. So just trying to hit a lot of different areas. I'm sure that we've hit those before, but I'm starting to check the boxes this year. Like, this is what I want this program to be like. And then in April, you're right, we finally got to taste everything. So the fruits of their labor kind of came full circle. We've basically gotten a chance now to have Mr. Babcock put an apron on. Don't tell anybody, but I made him. And he cooked our pancakes for us last week, and they all enjoyed it. And I went around the room and just kind of said, hey, what was your favorite part? And amazingly enough, I hate to say it, it wasn't the sugar shack as much as it was splitting and cutting wood. So I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect that. So that's some of the things that we do for that particular field trip. We had another field trip last week, and it was the recycling field trip. There's two parts to that. The first part is they have a little mini landfill that we dig, and they put things in the hole, everything from a banana peel to a piece of plastic to a bottle. And they come back out. They came back out, that was in September, they buried it, and in April they come back out and we see what's in the hole, basically, and what didn't recycle. We added a component to that. After we unbury the trash, they are now taking those items to the landfill. And we've got a little game that we play there that we also play with. We play with buckets in September, put the item in the right bucket, but now they put the right item in the big bin out at the recycling center. And so the things that they dig out, besides Wormy, because Wormy doesn't get to go home with anyone, but we all touch them, those things, now they're able to connect the dots with, okay, if I don't put it in the ground, I can take it out to the recycling center and actually put it in the bins. They also get an opportunity to go into the machinery area where the cardboard and the plastics are baled together in big bales, and they learn about how that happens. And then again, we're reinforcing the idea, the 3 R's: recycle, reduce, and reuse. And it's just amazing that first graders, I'm just going to say, remember something from September when they come back out in April, and they're telling me what the 3 R's are. So then I know we're on the right track. That's just a couple of things that we do. We could go all day on it, but, we all want to go home.
Oh, yeah. And I just want to say about outdoor education here, I teach high school. Every single student that is a Buchanan kid from the beginning to the end, they all have an outdoor education story. They all know the value of it. They can tell you what funny thing Mr. Nixon did, or whatever. They all have a story. It's a very important part of the heritage of going to school here, so to continue to support outdoor education is a vital part of this school. So that's why we come back to the meetings. That's why I have a board liaison. We're one of the only places that has a school farm. I'd love to see it grow more, but I won't take your time on that tonight.
And they're both doing a ton. And Melissa, you are a great advocate. We roped her in. Like I said, this is her second year, and she's doing amazing. So we appreciate the science of it. And Jane, all the hard work and stuff she's doing too. So thank you.
Okay, very good. All right. Superintendent and Buck Parents Conversation.
Yeah, thank you. So we met March 29th. And that was probably the biggest group that I've had for my superintendent conversations. And really, we talked a lot about the bond projects, and then we even talked a little bit about increasing recess time at Moccasin. So Mr. Babcock was there as well and joined in on that conversation there. So that's about it for that one.
All right. And then parent advisory.
Parent advisory, we met the next day, March 30th, and those topics ranged from staffing. We talked, I just gave them an update about our openings that we have. We also talked about the Boys and Girls Club, our upcoming agreement with them. I did give them an update on the school of choice window, really talking to them about, giving them a heads up if they were to come in contact with some parents or families who were looking to go to our school for school of choice, that window will be coming open here soon. Every year, there's always a conversation too about choir. So there was another parent who wanted, how do we get this going? So another thing that we need to explore within our arts program. And then also there was a parent who brought up the SAT shifts for next year, just wanting to make sure that our teachers are getting support from either our RISA group or our state as we shift to the online testing for SAT. So pretty productive meeting for our parent advisory meeting.
All right. Very good. And the 2023 bond informational meeting?
Yep, so those were, the April 6th meeting was at Moccasin. We had a really wonderful turnout, was able to give some updated information to the people who attended tours. There was our group that is working this for the informational meetings did a wonderful job of organizing it. We had Lisa Gregory from Moccasin who kind of led and organized that event, so really wonderful with that. April 15th, we had our buildings open Saturday. For anyone who wanted to come in and take a tour. So we had visitors come, and there were students there too who assisted with some of the tours.
Very good. And Human Resources Committee?
It's always, this was only a few days ago, but it's, go back and have to remember. We met on April 12th, and it was Ruth Ryder, myself, Trish Robinson, and Carrie. We discussed the new hires, and as well as we did have a death of an employee, Mr. Larry Klein from Ottawa, so that was part of our discussion. Very sad to see somebody who is so loved by the students hear of his passing. We did have resignations. There were 3 resignations. Lucy Burley, Chad Van Beek, and Deanna Russell is leaving at the end of the year, so we appreciate the heads up and wish her the best. We discussed the job fair that Carrie and Michelle had attended at IUSB, and then there's also a couple of other virtual job fairs coming up. We're also looking at different ways to, I'm going to say, identify pools of candidates that we might be able to pull from, whether it be specialties or just working with some of the local colleges. And then finally, we discussed open positions. So there are currently for the 2023-24 school year, there is positions in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th open at Moccasin. So we have it posted as an elementary position on the website already. And we are already generating applicants, which is a great shift from what we've seen previously. There's an opening in Cisco, and then band, which we already had applicants after it being posted. I think it was less than a week at that point that it had been posted. And then there were also openings with maintenance, substitute bus driver, custodian, kid care aide, 8th grade volleyball coach, and a noon supervisor for Moccasin. And then we also talked about the Public Employee Relations Act as part of the kind of HR legislation portion.
All right.
Any questions?
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item J, public comment, and for our Buchanan Community Schools bylaw 0167.3. Which governs public comment at board meetings. Each participant may speak once during the meeting for up to 3 minutes. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. And I, as president, will refer questions to the superintendent for research and response in a timely manner. Please ensure your public comment card includes your contact information as desired for a response. And if you have specific questions for the board that requires follow-up, please email us directly to the board president. And with that said, we do have a couple of comment cards tonight. And the first one is Reverend Pam Stern. Come on.
Hi, my name is Pamela Sten,
Oh,
just without the R, that's okay.
Oh.
I get that a lot. I've been a resident here for about 9 years now, and I'm a former music teacher and a retired minister. I received a postcard in the mail from a resident who said this was paid for him, and it says for Buchanan, BOE. I actually Googled this and found nothing that says BOE. But I was hoping for some clarification if this term BOE has anything to do with the Board of Education. And I'm hoping that is not the case. But I know I'm speaking to the choir here with the school board, but how can our country compete in a world economy without excellent education? Where the other countries are offering so much more than we are, more than 12 years of education, and that's the up-and-coming thing. And so I don't know how we're going to continue to compete. How are the robotics teams and the future of robotics and everything else that I know nothing about? How are they going to continue if we don't have funding for the school? And how are schools going to survive without financing? And when I went to school, 100 years ago, adult citizens paid for our schools to educate me. And when I became an adult, I did the same. Now I live in an apartment complex, but part of my rent that I pay goes to taxes, so it's not just homeowners. And I think a lot of people think it might just be homeowners, but we all pay for the taxes and we pay for the next generation. And I think that's very important, and as you can probably guess, I do speak in favor of the bond. And thank you for allowing this time for me to speak tonight.
Thank you, Pam. And I'm sorry about your last name. All right, and I have a second card here. Brian Murphy.
Good evening. It's great to be here. I am Brian Murphy. I live in the township. We are not parents of children in the school. We're not alumni. We moved here just a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic. But we're proud citizens of Buchanan. We love this town. We love the people. We're getting really involved. And I come to speak to you about the bond proposal. But I want to start with some gratitude, first of all, for you, for the work that you do as a school board. I know it's a thankless job, and please know that it doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you all. For all the teachers and for all the administrators and for all the coaches, we're grateful for everything that they're doing every day, for the maintenance and other staff that are helping to make these schools run. We're again grateful for the community. And you know what, we're grateful for the passionate debate that's out there about this bond proposal. It's really important that there are people out there debating this, because it's a lot of money, and we're spending it on important things. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the experts that you all have hired to help you, that have to specify the needs, identify the costs, and then help you to come up with the solutions for funding. My background is I've done fundraising for not-for-profit organizations for over 30 years, many of them schools, private schools. And when you raise money for a private school, you have to develop a thing called a case for support. I attended both the session at Moccasin, and I was here and had a wonderful tour with Trish and Brian on Saturday, and I have a sense of what the case for support is. So I see two significant categories of argument in favor of the bond. First is necessity. In the postcard that was just referred to, it says this is an unnecessary bond proposal. These things are wants, not needs. I toured the two buildings. Shocking, unacceptable, the condition of the two buildings. Having said that, what's happening there is a miracle. You've got great teachers and administrators that are making it happen. There are life safety issues. There's constantly failing infrastructure. Security issues in an era where we have, I don't have to mention what's happening. We all know. Pitiful teaching environments. And there's health and wellness things being addressed in this bond proposal. And we know that a prime issue in our schools, in our society now, is the mental health, the wellness of our children. There's stress, there's obesity. This health and wellness center is not just for athletes. It's referred to in the postcard as a third gym or a second weight room. Unacceptable. The second argument is economics. In the postcard, the gentleman mentions that it's unaffordable. I say we can't afford not to do this, as the wise woman just said. I think our city and our region are at an inflection point. We're a school of choice. We need to remain that, and I think we need to invest in our future. Our children have great teachers. They deserve better facilities. There's a teacher shortage in our country. If we want to retain and attract high-quality teachers, we need to invest in our facilities, because they're looking not just for salary, they're looking for a great teaching environment and a great community. To not invest in the school is a race to zero. If we don't invest in these schools, it's hard to imagine. So strong schools equal a strong community, and as you just said, we've had a century of investment in this school district. It's our turn. I will not see any direct benefits from this, never with children or grandchildren that will attend these schools. But I think it's our turn. We're willing to step up and back this. So we encourage those who are committed to investing in our town's future to vote yes. And we ask those who are opposed to this proposal to reconsider and join us in investing in the future of Buchanan.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, moving on to item K, adoption of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that the Board of Education approves the consent agenda for the regular board meeting of April 17, 2023 be adopted as written. With the minutes from,
Support.
okay. Good, I didn't want to read that.
You're fine.
Any question or comments about the consent agenda?
She still has to read it.
Oh,
I do have to read it?
You do have to read it. I just seconded it.
okay. You're throwing everybody off.
I know.
So the consent agenda includes the minutes from the March 13, 2023 regular meeting, the Treasury and expenditure reports for March 2023, the recommendations to hire is submitted by Moccasin Elementary Principal Mr. Michael Babcock and Assistant Superintendent Mr. Mark Kurland of Candace Peppers, Special Education Teacher at Moccasin, and Brianna Hullinger, Operations Utility Staff. Coaching recommendations submitted by Athletic Coordinator Mr. Reed Macbeth and Assistant Athletic Coordinator Mr. Ryan Franzak of Blake Ryan for the varsity boys tennis coach, Stacy Martin for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls track coach, and Josh Wagner for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys track coach. The employee departures that were mentioned earlier, Larry Klein, Operations Utility Staff as of March 16, 2023. Deanna Russell, Band Director, as of August 25, 2023, with a teaching contract ending June 8, 2023. And Lucy Burley, Ottawa Paraprofessional, ending April 12, 2023.
And now I support, and I did mess you up. I apologize.
All right. Any questions or comments from board members? All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Miss Berry.
Yes.
Miss Brackett.
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin.
Yes.
Miss Ryder.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L1, BVA graduation certification. May we have a motion?
I move the Buchanan Board of Education, upon satisfactory completion of district requirements for high school graduation, hereby approves Buchanan Virtual Academy students Elizabeth Michelanis, Nina Bromley, Jessie Browers, and Abigail Polly.
Support.
Ms. Robinson, anything to add?
Congratulations to all of our graduates. We're excited about them being able to just continue on and completing the courses and make it to this point.
All right. Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Miss Berry?
Yes.
Miss Brackett?
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Miss Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item L2, schools of choice. May we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that the Buchanan Community School Board of Education operates a school of choice program which will accept applicants of non-resident students for the available grade level openings as listed below for enrollment into the Buchanan Community School District for the 2023-2024 school year in compliance with the statutory requirements of Section 105 and Section 105C. The window for applications for these openings will be April 27th through May 26, 2023. And the openings for each grade level will be 20 at kindergarten at Ottawa, as well as 5 for first grade. At Moccasin, there's 6 for second grade, 3 for third grade, 1 for fourth grade. The middle school, there's 4 for fifth grade and sixth grade, and 2 for seventh grade. And at the high school, there's 5 for eighth grade, 8 for ninth grade, 4 for 10th grade, 6 for 11th grade, and 5 for 12th grade.
Support.
All right. Ms. Robinson?
This is our regular opening for our school of choice window. We know that we've had parents to call, so we'll announce this once it's approved and get the word out that we have openings.
All right. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Miss Berry?
Yes.
Miss Brackett?
Yes.
Miss Lush, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Miss Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item L3, support staff leave request. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion that the Buchanan Board of Education grants unpaid leave of absence to Brittany Thomas, who is a BMS paraprofessional from from May 11th through May 18th.
Support.
All right. Anything else to add, Ms. Robinson?
No, this is just part of our policy, and I know we're going to be looking at some things with this, but this is part of our policy, so.
Okay. And roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Miss Berry?
Yes.
Miss Brackett?
Yes.
Miss Lush, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Miss Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item L4, another support for staff leave request.
I'll make the motion that the Buchanan Board of Education grants unpaid leave of absence to Kristen Baker, Ottawa Media Assistant, for a half day on April 13th and a full day on April 14th.
Support.
Good thing we didn't say no. No.
Anything to add, Ms. Robinson?
And this was just after the fact, but there was a pre-approval going on with that, so.
Okay. And roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Miss Berry?
Yes.
Miss Brackett?
Yes.
Miss Lush, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Miss Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item L5, memorandum of understanding with the Boys and Girls Club.
I make a motion, the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education approves the attached memorandum of understanding between the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Southwest Michigan and the Buchanan Community Schools.
Support.
Yeah, Ms. Robinson.
And this will be a pilot program this summer that we are working with the Boys and Girls Club with. It will be housed at the middle school, so we're excited about what this can be and even the possibility of an extended collaboration and partnership.
Any questions or comments from board members? No? All right. Sorry, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Miss Berry?
Yes.
Miss Brackett?
Yes.
Miss Lush, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Miss Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes, and I think this will be a good thing as well, coming from the inner city of Detroit where we had these that were very important in things. So. All right, moving on to item L6, 2023-2024, non-renewal of administrative contract, or administrative contract, yeah.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education acts to not renew the Assistant Superintendent contract for the 2023-24 school year due to the elimination of the Assistant Superintendent position and reassignment to the position of Director of Operations and Instructional Systems Coordinator.
Support.
All right. And Ms. Robinson, anything else to add to that?
No, nothing more to add.
Okay. Question or comments?
Didn't we do this at the last? Do you have
Right.
to do it twice? Okay,
Right.
just making sure.
Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item L7, Girl Scouts proposed tree planting at Buchanan Middle School.
I make a motion that the Buchanan Board of Education grants permission to the Girl Scouts to plant a tree at Buchanan Middle School.
Support.
Anything to add, Ms. Robinson?
Nothing more to add.
All right. No.
Just because we've done the tree friends and all of the trees, did we make sure we checked like where it can go or where it can be by? Or can
So
we just
actually,
make sure? Okay.
Mrs. Beasley is actually here, so yes, she did. The girls did present her, they did a whole presentation to her, and they scoped out where it would be. And then the next thing will be, once it's approved, Mr. Curlin is going to work with Ms. Digg or getting all of the things, lined up for it. So,
Okay. Just making sure we got a lot of trees over there.
Yes,
so.
yes, we do.
Which we need, because there was nothing, so, yeah.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
Thank you to the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, thank you. All right. And item L8, emergency hot water boiler purchase for the high school.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education authorizes the emergency purchase and installment of 2 new hot water boilers and 1 expansion tank for Buchanan High School to keep the school operating.
Support.
And Ms. Robinson.
Yes, and just based off of the information that I've received from our operations director, there's just a need for this to happen right away. So we do have to take some steps to get it done. So the bid process, all of that, we just have to skip that and get to this ordering of this tank for the high school.
Okay. Any questions or comments from board members?
Well, I think when we got the information, the years on it, for sure, where the necessity comes in, and the patching and the fixing and, just that time frame. So we do appreciate that information from the director.
All right. Very good. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to M, questions and comments from board members.
I would just like to say thank you for your time, Ms. Sten and Mr. Murphy. Appreciate you taking the time out tonight to join us during the public comment section. Appreciate that.
I wanted to mention, I was at Moccasin picking up my son, and North American Signs fixed the Moccasin flagpole. We had really heavy winds, and it became detached, and it was swinging around the day prior, and so I was going to let Mr. Babcock know, and when we showed up the next day, they were out there on their own time with their ladder and their, so we just want to say thank you, and North American Signs also contributed to our high school front sign, so, and they just came out and did it, nobody called them, so I just wanted to say thank you that was much appreciated. I was standing there and I said, what happened? He goes, I don't know, he said this whole thing's unraveled, so he was fixing it, taping it, got back up and, attached it. So I just let Mr. Babcock know, but I did think that was very nice of them to take the time to stop and actually notice it, because it was still attached on the top part, but it was obviously messed up, you could tell, so much appreciated. And then Plow Days, come support Plow Days Saturday. It starts at 8 with a pancake breakfast. And all the proceeds that we raise during Plow Day goes for, obviously, the school farm development and, the classes that we put in, the materials we use. So please come support that. And then just thank you to all the community, businesses, chamber members that are supporting the bond committee. We do appreciate and getting the right answers out to the community and the correct information. It is a lot of work, and it does take a team approach for that, and we do appreciate everybody reaching out and taking the time to get those answered correctly and get the misinformation out of there. So, thank you.
To add to that, just one thing, on April 20th is the final informational session about the board, so that, about the bond. That is this Thursday at 6 o'clock here at the high school. So again, it will be tours, the video of the improvements that are hopefully going to be made. And you can have the opportunity to ask questions as well.
And I would like to add a thank you to those in the community who learn more factual information by attending the 2 meetings and who will attend the one on Thursday. Also, a huge thank you to the leadership, the committee that's working so hard to get this bond passed. I will reiterate what we heard earlier, in that I've been in education as a teacher and now as a board member for over 50 years. You can do the math. I always said we have to take care of our youth because they will take care of us in our old age. And I can attest to that every single day. So we really do need to support our young people. Now and in the future. This building's 100 years old. Moccasin is 75. We need to help them. Oh, one more thing. There are lots of scholarship opportunities for seniors.
Yeah.
So apply, apply, apply.
All right. I know our next board meeting will be May 15th, which is after Mother's Day, so don't forget Mother's Day, but it will be after the vote. So I would encourage you all to go out and vote. If you're not sure, go and get information to help you to vote and be informed to do that. And you can visit our website, and we have a committee that you go to April 27th, right? 20th, right? Is another informational meeting that you can get that information and help you to make a good vote. Our schools need the improvements and other things that are within this bond because it does help our students to thrive and succeed. Right? With that said, if there's no other comments, then our next board meeting is May 15th at 6:30, not 6 o'clock, 6:30 that day. And we stand at, oh, wait a minute. What am I looking at? Oh, yeah, never mind. I'm seeing things.
But we have the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, we have that end of the year celebration at 6 o'clock, so 6 o'clock. We're adjourned.